Hi guys, if you're here, welcome to If You're Trades and welcome to the channel where we literally talk about technical analysis and how you can use technical analysis not as a tool of prediction but as a tool to manage your profits and losses. Okay, and so in today's video we're going to be talking about something away from the Nigerian stock market. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin. Okay, so let's just go straight right into it. So it's been a while I actually did a Bitcoin video, and once again, please don't forget to follow me on my socials, my Twitter, my YouTube, and my TradingView. All right, so let's go right straight into it. So on Twitter in September of 2025, I created this tweet and I talked about Bitcoin having a bearish divergence, and pretty much all a bearish divergence means is that price is going one way and an oscillator, that's an indicator that you have, is going the opposite direction. So it means somebody is lying, and in most cases it's always price. And so Bitcoin at that time was 112,660. So I literally almost called the top of Bitcoin with this tweet in September. Matter of fact, I've not really been doing or talking much about cryptocurrency since this tweet. The next time I spoke about Bitcoin was with the trading idea I did in February, right? Yeah, this trading idea I did in February, and if we open it up, I was talking about Bitcoin's fractal. And basically what a fractal means is that it's a series of events that has happened in the past that is the likelihood of it happening again in the future. So there was this fractal, it was a rising channel, and then we had a rising channel also. I noticed there was a rising channel also in February, and I was like, there's a huge likelihood that this could fall or topple over. And guess what? We've waited and it did topple over, not as much as I expected, but well, here we are. Okay, I also did a video about it 5 months ago where I extensively talked about the fractal also. So where are we currently with Bitcoin? Now, this is a Bitcoin chart from Binance, and this is the fractal I was talking about, the rising channel. And after the rising channel was a major drop, and then we had this rally that we had from Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been on an uptrend since about March 2023. So even if, whether you like it or not, right, since March 2023, when Bitcoin was just about 23,000, Bitcoin has been in an uptrend. And what's an uptrend to me? An uptrend to me is for any time frame that you are on, once you are above the 200 EMA, you are in an uptrend, right? So the fact is that, believe it or not, to me, and based on the way I analyze the market, we are still in an uptrend. So even though Bitcoin has crashed from over 126,000, even if it has crashed from over 126,000 all the way down to where it is right now at 62,000, yeah, I think that's what it is, at 62,500, it's like getting a discounted Bitcoin at 50% discount, but we are still in an uptrend, or that's what I feel. The only time I'll be completely disenfranchised or completely feel like all hope is lost about Bitcoin is when we finally lose this 200 EMA. So currently, where are we? From 126 all the way down, Bitcoin came down to over 50% down. Now it's now at 62 thereabouts, so it's exactly at 50% discount, right? So what's the point of this video? The point of this video is, I know there's a lot of fear in the market, right? And I know that there is a lot of, Bitcoin, this is the end of Bitcoin, and all of that. But the charts are not exactly telling me that. The only time I'll be excessively sure that Bitcoin is gone, is once price action descends below this 200 EMA. And if you saw in my previous tweet, in the tweet that I did last week, I literally drew a box, right? And in that box, the box was something like this. So basically, in that box, I was saying that as long as I was asking the audience, I was asking people, is this an opportunity or is this a risk? So for me, as long as Bitcoin stays above this, I'll give you about 3 reasons why I'm optimistic, and then I'll start to tell you when I'm pessimistic. Now, don't forget that I'm the same person that literally mentioned Bitcoin when it was showing us bearish divergences, right? So I'll give you 3 reasons why I'm optimistic about Bitcoin. Then the opposite of the things that I'm saying will be the exact reason why I'm no longer positive about Bitcoin. Okay, so first off, this box that I have drawn, right, is the previous all-time high levels of 2021 into 2022, right? So Bitcoin's all-time high in 2021 to 2022 was 69,000, right? Now, don't forget that supports and resistances are regions. They're not like literally just one line. It's a region, right? So what it looks like is that this area currently in 2021 into 2022 were areas of resistance. So price action went up, found a ceiling, came back down. Price action tried to go up, found a ceiling, came back all the way down, right? So the same area of previous resistance in the future is possible that it can become support. So 3 times it's been resistance, and right now it's testing a possible likelihood of having support. So it came all the way, touched this region, rejected, came down, came back all the way up, touched this region, rejected, took a while, came back to this area, touched this region, rejected, and then was able to go up and then go up. And then now the only time after this area of 2024, Bitcoin is now retesting this region in 2026. So the only time I'm going to be afraid, as in positively afraid, is if Bitcoin goes below this box that I have created that I'm calling a support resistance flip. So basically this was resistance and now has the possibility that it can be support. So prices of Bitcoin can support here and continue higher. All right, so that's the reason number 1. So my reason number 2 is what I have mentioned before, that for me, an uptrend in any time frame is when price action is above the 200 EMA. And I keep talking about 200 EMA because most advanced traders always trade the 200 EMA. It is a point that people always take a look at. Very, very important. So if price action remains above this 200 EMA, doesn't fall too long and too way below it, I'll feel like Bitcoin still has a steady fighting chance to recover from where it is. So that's reason number 2. So what is reason number 3? Reason number 3 lies in the money flow. So I'm going to expand this a little bit, right? So I remember when I did my video 5 months ago for the same, and I was talking about these as a bearish divergence because money flow was just going all the way down, and then it was entering into negative territory. So it entered into negative territory, and guess what? It's recovering from negative territory. So this is what is possible. I'll just attempt to draw, if I can find the drawing tool. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting could happen. That's my expectation, right? Prices can, money flow would leave negative territory and start going up, right? So I mentioned 3 reasons why I'm bullish on Bitcoin. Those are the 3 reasons. The first reason is this SR, that's the support resistance flip that we had. This was area of resistance and now it is flipping into an area of support. First reason. Second reason, 200 EMA price action is still above 200 EMA. Third reason, price action, the MoneyWave is in negative territory, is in recovering negative territory. So the only times I will be frantic about what Bitcoin can do next is when we lose completely this area of support, when we lose completely the 200 EMA, and when the money flow, instead of doing this recovery I'm expecting, starts to come back all the way out and is still going negative. That's when I know for sure that there is no hope. Okay, folks, that was a mouthful. Okay, so I know that I mentioned in my previous video, when I talked about Bitcoin 5 months ago, that Bitcoin could go to 30,000, but that was if it was going to completely follow the fractal, right? So based on this, and I'm looking at the weekly time frame, right? Bitcoin has, these are the areas that I am interested in looking at. If you follow me on Twitter, you have seen this diagram a lot of times. So this area, this region around 67 or 69, this area is very important. But if you are unable to hold this area, worst case scenario, Bitcoin comes to 49,000. And to be honest, if Bitcoin comes to 49,000, I know that we are holistically in a bear market and it could only go worse from there. Okay, so I'm tempted to leave this video right there. I'm going to leave it right there. But there's one more thing that is making me a little bit optimistic about the price of Bitcoin currently. So with my trading indicator I have created, some of the things I try to do is look for areas of strong liquidity. I try to look for areas where the liquidity is really high. So I'm looking, this is a daily time frame right now, right? So the last time we saw a bottom dot right here, right? So basically this dotting system calls for areas where there was very high volume of trading, and it's likely that this is a bottom. Okay, so once you see a green bottom, it means that it's a possible bottom. So once this came up, it took a while before prices went up. Now we have a situation where we have another bottom dot on the daily time frame. I'm usually quite optimistic about bottom dots when I see them. I do know that if you look at the MoneyWave on the daily time frame, it's entering into negative territory. But I just wanted to bring that up, you know, but our main focus is on the weekly time frame, and I truly honestly believe that it's an opportunity, and the only time it becomes a complete point of risk is when those 3 factors I've mentioned become negated. All right, so that's what I want to talk about in this video. What do you think? What do you think about Bitcoin? Do you think this is the end? This is the complete absolute end? Do you think, is that what you anticipate as well, or are you slightly optimistic as I am? So let me know in the comment section, and I guess I'll see you in the very next video.